Deep beneath the ocean, where no light dared to wander, an ancient kingdom shimmered in eerie blue glow. Its walls were made of coral and bone, its pillars carved from the remains of fallen ships. The sea roared softly outside, but within the kingdom, silence ruled. Upon the throne sat the Queen Mother, half woman, half serpent. Her golden eyes burned like fire beneath the waves, her long hair floating around her like threads of darkness. With the motion of her jeweled hand, the waters trembled.
Come forth, my daughter.
Her voice thundered, rippling through the deep. One by one, the mermaids swarmed out from the shadows, each breathtakingly beautiful from the waist up, but with long scaled tails that shimmered like emerald fire. They lined up before her, heads bowed, the current itself stilled in reverence. The queen's lips curled into a smile. "The time has come," she said. "The world of men has forgotten who rules the waters. Go ye into the world, go into cities, go into homes, churches, charm men, tempt them, break them, and bring their souls to me." "Yes, Queen Mother," the mermaids chorused, their voices haunting and sweet. The queen raised her serpent tail high, striking the ocean floor. In that moment, a mighty wave erupted, dark, spiraling, alive with power. It wrapped around the mermaids, lifting them upward through the deep until they burst through the sea surface with a hiss. As they reached the shore, their tails split and faded into perfect human legs. By the time the moonlight touched them, they stood as beautiful women, flawless, enchanting, and deadly. And as the night breeze swept across the coast, their soft laughter drifted into the world of men, sweet, dangerous, and full of promise. The hunt for souls had just begun. Thunder rolled across the Lagos sky like angry drums. The rain came hard and fast, slapping against rooftops, drenching the streets and drowning every other sound. Inside a tall white house at the end of Olufemi Street in Lynda Estate, voices rose above the storm.
"Arike, enough!"
Pastor Hamza shouted, pacing the sitting room, his eyes red with frustration.
"How long do you keep talking like this? Haven't I tried? Haven't I prayed?"
Arike stood near the dining table, hands on her waist, her voice sharp.
5 years of waiting, Hamza. 5 years of prayers, fasting, and an empty womb. But what kind of God do you even serve?
"Watch your tongue, woman."
Hamza backed, slamming his palm against the wall.
"Do not mock the Lord in this house."
She laughed bitterly.
Oh, Pastor, preach to your congregation, not me. Out there you act holy, but in here, you are just a man who can't fix his own home.
The words struck like lightning. For a moment, Hamza felt the weight of them pierce his chest. What will I tell them if I throw her out? That Pastor Hamza of God's People Assembly cannot handle his wife? He swallowed the anger burning in his throat.
"I will not sin because of you,"
he muttered, grabbing his car keys.
Hold! Where do you think you're going?
I'm going to cool off!
He stormed out. The door slammed behind him, echoing through the thunder. The rain soaked him within seconds as he ran towards his car, but he didn't care. He got in and drove aimlessly through the dark. The rain poured heavily, beating against the windshield like 1,000 tiny drums. Pastor Hamza gripped the steering wheel, his jaw tight. His quarrel with Arike still echoed in his head like a curse. As he drove through the lonely streets, then, out of the misty downpour, he saw her, a young woman standing by the roadside. Her hair clung to her face, her gown soaked and hugging her body tightly. She raised her hand weakly, hoping for a cab. The street lights flickered, and for a brief moment, she looked almost unreal, beautiful, frightened, fragile. Hamza slowed down. His conscience whispered, "Don't stop," but curiosity overpowered it. He rolled down his window.
"Where are you going?"
The woman shivered, her voice trembling. "Ojodu, I've been waiting for a cab for almost an hour." Hamza looked around. Empty streets, no taxis, only the rain and the distant sound of thunder. He sighed.
Get in. I'll drop you off.
Without hesitation, she opened the door and stepped in. Her clothes were dripping wet, her perfume faint but sweet. "Thank you, sir," she said softly. "My name is Delilah."
Hamza,
He replied, starting the car.
where exactly in Ojuju?
She gave him the address and they drove off through the rain. For a while, silence filled the car, only the sound of the storm and the soft hum of the engine. Delilah turned slightly, studying him. "You look troubled, Mr. Hamza, like someone carrying the weight of the world." Hamza smiled faintly.
I've had a long night.
They drove until the rain softened into a drizzle. When they reached her gate, she smiled warmly. "Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate this,"
You're welcome.
he said, already reaching to shift into reverse. But Delilah hesitated, looking at him.
Come in and take some tea. You are drenched and I owe you that much.
Hamza blinked.
No, it's fine. I should be on my way.
"Please," she insisted, her voice gentle but firm. "Just tea. You can't go back on the road like this. Besides, the rain has increased again." Pastor Hamza hesitated. He thought of Arike waiting at home, her sharp tongue, her endless complaints. His heart clenched. "Going home to her right now will only start another war,"
All right,
he said quietly.
just tea.
He followed her inside. Her living room was warm and beautifully lit, the air smelling faintly of vanilla. Hamza looked around and could tell she lived comfortably. She excused herself for a moment and came back in dry clothes, fitted, simple but elegant. Her beauty seemed to glow under the bright light. "Please sit," she said, smiling. "I'll bring the tea." Hamza sat, trying not to stir, but every time she moved, something in him stirred, something he had buried under years of discipline. She returned with 2 cups of tea and sat close. "I don't usually invite strangers in," she said softly, "but you looked like you needed peace more than I needed safety." Her words hit deep. He gave a small laugh.
You're very observant.
"One can tell," she whispered, her eyes locking with his. Then the air changed, heavy, slow, charged. Hamza felt his pulse rise. He told himself to leave, but his senses betrayed him. Delilah reached out and brushed a drop of rain from his cheek. "You're still wet," she said.
Delilah,
He breathed, unsure if it was a warning or a plea. But before he could say more, she leaned in. The first kiss was soft, questioning. The second was certain, and then control was lost. One thing led to another. Tea forgotten, breaths mingling, hands searching, and soon they stumbled toward the bedroom, both consumed by the storm burning between them as they fell to the bed. Just as they were about to give in to their desire, Delilah suddenly stiffened. Her body jerked once, then again, harder this time. Her eyes rolled backward, and a strange choking sound escaped her throat.
Delilah!
Hamza shouted, sitting up in shock. He grabbed her shoulders, shaking her gently.
Delilah, what's happening? Talk to me.
She began convulsing violently, her limbs thrashing, foam forming at corners of her mouth. Panic gripped Hamza as he tried to hold her down.
Jesus, what is this? What's wrong with you?
He cried, but there was no response, only the sound of her gasping breaths and the pounding of his own heart. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, she went still, completely still. Hamza froze, trembling.
No, please.
He placed his hand on her chest. Nothing, no heartbeat.
Jesus, what have I done?
He staggered back, sweat pouring down his face. The room spun around him. His mind screamed call for help, but fear paralyzed him. What will they tell the police? What will the church say if this got out? The rain began again, light and haunting. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, mocking him. Thoughts crashed against each other. Run and vanish. Call for help. Turn yourself in. But what if tests and questions led straight back to him? In split seconds, he made a decision born out of fear rather than faith. He sprinted into the living room, snatched the teacups and quickly washed them. He then wrapped the limp body with the bed sheets. The rain had returned heavier now, drumming on the roof as if the world itself was warning him. Hamza opened the door slightly, scanned the dim compound, then carried the body out towards his car and heaved it into the trunk. His hands trembled as he started the engine and drove out of the compound toward the outskirts of the city, where the lights thinned and the roads grew narrow. When he got to the middle of the bush, he jumped out, hauled her from the trunk and staggered deeper into the bush. Only when he stood at a spot, breathing hard and filthy with rain, did he notice there was no shovel, no way to bury what he had done. For a long second, he simply stood, powerless and panicked. The night pressing in. Without thinking more, he dumped the body there, propped awkwardly among the bushes, and ran back to his car, hoping against hope that no one would find what he had left behind. Pastor Hamza drove home through the heavy rain, his heart pounding like a drum. By the time he reached his compound, it was past midnight. Lightning split the sky and thunder rolled like the voice of judgment. He stepped inside quietly, his clothes drenched and his face pale. Arike sat on the couch, arms folded.
Where are you coming back from at this hour?
She
Where
demanded.
the hell have you been?
Hamza didn't answer. He brushed past her, heading straight to the bathroom. Minutes later, he emerged in his nightwear. Without a word, he slipped under the duvet, pretending to be asleep. Arike watched him with narrowed eyes, muttered something under her breath, turned up the light, and the house fell silent. Outside, the rain eased into a faint drizzle. Then, slowly, from the bush behind the compound, something moved. A large snake, thick, dark, and glistening, slid out from the wet grass. Its tongue flicked in and out, tasting the air. It slithered through the compound, over the veranda, and toward the bedroom window, its scales glistening in the moonlight. Inside, Hamza snored slightly, lost in restless sleep. The window creaked open and the snake slipped in. Its body glided across the cold floor, up the side of the bed and beneath the duvet. It crawled slowly toward him. Then, just as it raised its head to strike, Hamza jolted awake with a loud cry.
Jesus!
He sat up, drenched in sweat, gasping for air. His eyes darted around the room. No snake, just darkness and the sound of his racing heartbeat. It was a dream. Arike turned sharply, glaring at him.
What is it this time? Screaming in the early hours of the day like a madman.
Hamza couldn't speak. He wiped his face with trembling hands, muttered a quick prayer under his breath, and watched his wife storm out of the room. He remained still for a moment, staring into the shadows. His heart refused to calm. Why a snake? What kind of dream was that? At the break of dawn, Hamza dragged himself out of bed, headed straight for the washing machine. He prayed silently that the evidence of last night, the clothes, the smell, the fear had somehow disappeared. But when he opened the lid, there it was, his clothes from last night, soaked but unwashed. His chest tightened. He dressed quickly for service. Arike joined him in the car, her silence sharp and heavy. As they drove towards the church, Hamza's fingers gripped the steering wheel tightly. The dream replayed in his mind. Was it a warning? A message from God? Or was Delilah's spirit already haunting him? The thought made his stomach twist. Beside him, Arike sighed and muttered, "You better preach well today, Pastor." The church was filled to the brim as Pastor Hamza stepped up to the pulpit. His voice sounded firm, but his soul trembled.
Brethren,
He began, forcing a smile.
in every situation, no matter how confusing, no matter how painful, learn to seek the face of God.
His words echoed through the microphone, but to him, they felt heavy and hollow. Each sentence pierced his heart like a rebuke. Had he sought the face of God the night before? He gripped the edge of the pulpit, swallowed hard.
Before you act, before you speak, before you fall into temptation, seek God first.
He continued, his voice cracking slightly, and the congregation shouted, "Amen!" Sweat rolled down his forehead. For a brief moment, he saw Delilah's face flash before his eyes. He blinked it away, took a deep breath, and pressed on with his message. By the time the service ended, he was drained. Pastor Hamza slipped quietly into his office, shut the door behind him, and collapsed into the chair. For the first time since that dreadful night, his actions dawned on him. He rubbed his temples, too ashamed to pray. The memory of the night before hovered over him like a shadow that refused to fade. He sat there motionless, his thoughts drowning in regret. But far beneath the earth, in a world unseen by mortal eyes, deep under the ocean, where light could no longer reach, there stood a massive underwater kingdom made of shimmering shells and dark stones. The water glowed faintly, swirling around the throne of the queen mother of the marine kingdom, a half woman, half serpent. Her upper body was that of a beautiful woman with flawless skin that shimmered like pearls, but from her waist down stretched the long, scaled body of a mighty snake. Her golden eyes glowed like molten fire as she leaned forward on her coral throne. Before her knelt Delilah, radiant and otherworldly, surrounded by other marine women, agents of darkness, each one a mix of beauty and terror. Their tails flicked restlessly as they bowed in reverence. The Queen Mother leaned forward, eyes cold. "Tell me," she commanded, voice rolling like a reef-breaking wave. "Why did you not finish him, Delilah? Why did you return without a soul?" Delilah bowed her head, the glow around her dimming. "My queen," she whispered, "I tried to bend him. I tried to make him mine. But as we reached the edge, a strange convulsion seized me. My body shook and I could not fight it. He was stronger than I thought. For a moment, I lost all control." Her tail twitched with shame in the water's gloom. The queen's tone grew colder, her green eyes now flashing.
Your work is not done here, Delilah. His shame is only the beginning. I want his soul. You must ensure that he loses everything. His peace, his faith, his name. Draw him until he loses everything.
"Yes, my queen," Delilah replied softly, her voice rippling through the water. Around her, the other mermaids started chanting dark songs as the queen raised her hand. "Go now! Let his dreams become your dwelling place." A dark mist swirled around Delilah, pulling her upward through the glowing waters. And as the Queen Mother's laughter rolled like thunder beneath the sea, waves broke violently on the surface above, carrying her command straight toward the land. And miles away in Lynda's estate, Pastor Hamza turned in his sleep that night, cold sweat on his brow, whispering a single name that made even the shadows tremble. Delilah. A full week had crawled by since that dreadful night, yet Pastor Hamza was still dying in silence. Sleep no longer came easily. Food had lost its taste. Every time he tried to pray, guilt choked the words in his throat. He couldn't confide in Arike. She would mock him or twist his pain into another argument. His pastor friends? Now, they will judge him and probably avoid him afterward. He was a man of God, yet he was drowning in sin. Then, one name flashed in his mind. Ore, his longtime friend, his brother in everything but blood. Hamza picked up his phone and called him.
"Ore, I need to see you, please. Doom's Garden, this evening." "All right."
Ore replied. Later that day, the garden was quiet, the air thick with the smell of wet grass. Hamza sat on a wooden bench, his hands clasped, eyes hollow. He kept glancing around nervously until he saw Ore approaching, holding a bottle of wine.
"Hamza!"
Ore greeted, forcing a smile as they shook hands.
"You look terrible. What's going on?"
Hamza sighed heavily.
"Ore, I have messed up badly."
Without wasting time, he poured everything out, from the fight with Arike to meeting with Delilah and how she had died in his arms, how he panicked and dumped her body in the bush. Ore listened quietly, his expression unreadable. When Hamza finally stopped talking, Ore leaned back and exhaled.
"My guy."
You made a mistake. A terrible one. Picking up a random woman is bad enough, but dumping her
Hamza's eyes glistened.
"She wasn't breathing, Ore. I checked."
Ore frowned deeply.
But what if she wasn't really dead? What if she was just unconscious?
Hamza froze, his stomach tightening.
No, she couldn't have been. She was cold.
"Still."
Ore said quietly, his tone cautious.
You can't be so sure. We have to go back to that bush tonight. If she's still there, then we will know what to do.
Hamza swallowed hard, a chill creeping up his spine.
"If she's gone,"
Ore continued, eyes narrowing,
"then you have a bigger problem than you think."
I cast out and bind every demon in this place in the name of Jesus. Be gone, foul spirits!
For a moment, I lost all control.